I want to write historical novels particularly, and in doing my research of the local, a novel about here, I realized that there's absolutely a big dearth of history. Malay history really doesn't cover what were Malay states up here. And Thailand, the history is generally in Thai. It doesn't cover what were the Malay states here. So you don't really read it in Thai history, and you don't really read about it in Malaysian history. And I said, well, someone's got to put this together. There's lots of information. The Thai history tends to be very just boring, basically. It's all lots of names and big Luang this and Prior this, and he changes his name because Rama did this. And Malay history tends to be also a lot on the lords and quite chimeric. It's always like, you know, he was bobbing about in the boat and shot someone and killed him, right? It's the older history. So I said, well, let's put it in a form that people are going to want to read the next page. Is basically what I'm trying to do.
How many pages have you got so far?
Well, I had it at 700. I'm now cut it down to 430 pages, which is a manageable size.
What are you going to call it?
It's an island in the winds. Essentially, 6 months of the year the winds blow from the east, and 6 months they blow from the west, which is why thousands of years ago this peninsula, part of the peninsula, was part of the intertrade between China, India, and Romans, Greeks. Now, if you notice, the influences have come sometimes from the west, like Buddhism, the Indian names. There were Indian governors here. The first peoples here who to start civilizing the place or setting up kingdoms were Indians. More recently, it's been from the east. The Chinese have come and stamped their mark on the island. It seems to be again coming more from the west, with all the Franks piling in. And in this way, kind of the wind blows some way, the wind blows the other. And it's been doing it for thousands of years, and Phuket's been here thousands of years, so I thought it's as good a name as any.
How many chapters, or what sort of
There's
subdivision?
39 shortest chapters, so that each one, you read one yesterday, each one is a separate story, but you rely on knowing what went on before, and hopefully the whole is more than 39 stories. You should get a picture not only of the island, but I'm taking a wide sweep. So why the Dutch came, why the Portuguese came, why the Chinese came. And I avoided, where possible, dealing with lords and kings. I'm dealing with normal people's lives, piracy and fighting and all the stuff that went on.
Well, we're here at Tai Hua Museum, which is the old school. Lots of pictures here, photos. Are you interested in getting more photos like this and meeting more people to get more information? And it's a work in progress. It'll never be finished.
It'll never be finished. There'll be one edition. There'll be loads of criticism. There'll be all this and that. And I will put out a second edition. And hopefully the information will be a lot better. One of my failings is I don't speak or read. I don't read Thai, and I don't read Malay. So I believe I've got most of the information, because scholars, more scholarly people than me, have translated most of it.
Let's bring in Lo Wee Ling. You're visiting here, and you've met Colin and had a quick look at his book. First of all, what do you think of his book, and also what do you see yourself when you look around here in the museum and Phuket, the connections between Malaysia and Penang, especially because you're from Penang, aren't you?
That's right. I'm born and bred in Penang, but since jobs don't come easily wherever you prefer, I've been at the University of Malaya for many years, almost not quite half a century, but near enough, 30 over years. My research and interest really has been centered on Penang. And because Penang, as Colin was trying to locate Phuket, you do not understand a place except in the context of a region, in the context of a continent, and even in a global context. In fact, when you talk about globalization today, historians really are so used to that concept. We've had globalization many years. So
Penang is a global place, and it always has been, right?
Our particular project is on Peranakan Chinese networks, with Penang as a hub. I've actually done work with other Thai scholars, where it's again a work in progress. I work with Chulipon from Silpakorn University, and we started a project on Penang-Phuket relations. But it's not yet complete. And then there was this other feasibility when Toyota Foundation launched its Asian Neighbors Network program. So right in where my interest falls, which is to understand Penang and its relations with its various neighbors, one of which very definitely is Phuket. In fact, as we walked around these few days, as we talked to people, we found that so many of the Hokkiens especially came from Penang or via Penang. They not only came via Penang, from Penang, they go back to Penang. And I think this particular museum will record some of that.
What do you think of Colin's book? You had a quick look at that too.
As an academic, academics read the footnotes first. They read the bibliography, and then they see where the material comes from. So that's what I went through first, and he has all the literature that you are used to finding, which is, as he said, you have to really piece together all the journal articles, tease out from general histories. It's there, but the local voice is not, which is why you have to get it from the Thai historians. And if you don't have the Thai historian's voice, which has to come out via translations, you'd have a partial picture. So we have been very fortunate. We met some local scholars who brought us to their Baba Museum in Satri School, is that Satri School? And as I told Ajahn Rudy, she has an army of research assistants who has to go around collecting genealogies, biographies, write your own history. We outsiders do not want to reinvent the wheel. We'd rather draw it from that's right. And then we do it from our perspective and join and actually look at the interaction of Penang and Phuket.
Neil here too. You're originally from Penang, but also now working in KL.
Yeah.
Tell us what you think, and your own website you have as well in Malaysia. What interests you here, especially in this museum?
Well, like Dr. Loh Wai Ling, we set up that website, and this is actually part of the Toyota Foundation project that she was explaining.
What's the name of the website?
It's peranakannetworks.com/blog. So if you go there, you will find what we would like to describe as a project in process. Yeah? Simply because, for example, when I came to Phuket, this is my second time, but this is the first time that I was able to sort of go into people's homes and talk to them and eat all the local food, and I discovered that it was like a homecoming, because my maternal grandmother's family came from Thailand, you see, and so in that sense, I could see in the material culture great similarities, which really reminded me of the smell and the taste. And as we were discussing just a few minutes ago, in Penang you have a larger community of Peranakans, and who come from different backgrounds, and it's very easy to sort of look back and say, these are all a single type of people, but actually it's not, because there are many types of Peranakans, and this is what we discovered when we went to Ajahn Rudy's little Baba Museum, and here you can see the modifications and the mediation that the local community had in the creation of what they constitute and call as Peranakan culture, which is totally quite different from the ones that evolved in Batavia, in Jakarta, or in Sumatra, in Medan. But the connection with Penang is very, very strong. And
one of the strongest things is